I was sent to catalog the apex predators of a Class 12 death world. Nobody told me the humans had already captured them. Nobody told me they named them. The sterile scent of chemical antiseptic barely masked the dense, musky odor permeating the air of the human healing center. Jake, the designated biological mechanic, or veterinarian as his garment indicated, was adjusting a metallic table. My ear stalks were already flattened tight against my skull, vibrating with a low, rhythmic hum. The scanner strapped to my primary manipulator had been vibrating since I crossed the threshold. Something was wrong. Deathworlders were terrifying enough on their own, but the ambient biological signatures pinging against my interface suggested a localized concentration of lethal biology. The part that made me file a formal request for hazard pay? That comes later. My species, the Crincel, are not warriors. We are observers, cursed with the evolutionary remnants of a prey species. My enormous ocular spheres are designed to detect movement from any angle. Right now, they were darting frantically across the clinic's waiting area. The scanner buzzed with a soft audio cue. Multiple biological anomalies detected. Forward-facing binocular vision confirmed. Status: confined, confined. That word offered a fleeting comfort. I adjusted my optical filters, peering toward a row of reinforced transparent enclosures. Inside one sat a creature covered in dense golden insulation. It was large enough to sever a human limb. I braced for the human to draw a kinetic weapon. Instead, Jake walked right up to the containment cell. He did not look like a man facing a killer. Resting on the floor next to Jake's boot was a small, brightly colored sphere. A spherical decoy. A prey lure device, obviously designed to distract the beast long enough for the human to escape. It was a crude but potentially effective survival tool. "All right, buddy, let's get you checked out," Jake said, his voice dropping into a bizarre, higher-pitched frequency that defied all his normal stoic vocal patterns. He just opened the cage. I pressed my spine against the examination cabinet. The golden beast lunged forward. I anticipated a bloodbath. I waited for the screams. But the creature bounded past Jake entirely, its rear appendage oscillating wildly, a clear sign of neurological malfunction or pre-strike kinetic loading. It stopped directly in front of the prey lure device. It clamped its jaws around the sphere. My device issued another clinical warning. Apex predator approaching. Dental arsenal deployed. Impact imminent. The beast turned. It locked its forward-facing eyes on me. My automated panic hormones flooded my system, paralyzing my secondary motor functions. My ear stalks ceased vibrating and locked into a rigid death posture. It advanced, dropping the saliva-coated prey lure device at my feet. I closed my eyes, accepting the end of my cataloging cycle. A wet, abrasive texture dragged across my lower manipulator. I snapped my eyes open. The golden terror was not consuming my flesh. It was applying a thick layer of mucus to my skin. "Oh, he likes you," Jake said, casually wiping down a steel instrument. "Don't mind him, he's just a big softy. Who's a good boy? You are." The human was speaking to it, praising it. The beast emitted a low, rhythmic panting noise. I stared at the scanner, watching the threat assessment recalibrate wildly as the creature shoved its heavy, insulated head against my knee. Jake led the golden beast away, leaving the saliva-drenched sphere on the linoleum. My respiratory rate was just beginning to stabilize when a smaller vented containment unit was placed onto the examination table. The ambient air grew cold. A low, continuous mechanical rumbling emanated from the plastic box. My scanner instantly spiked, flashing a crimson warning across my retinas. The vibration in my ear stalks returned, shifting from a hum to a violent, terrified flutter. Jake popped the metal latch. A creature emerged with liquid grace. It was compact, covered in sleek black insulation, and armed with exposed, needle-like grasping appendages. It did not pant. It did not wag a decoy limb. It sat with lethal stillness. Then it turned its head. It locked its forward-facing, bioluminescent green optical sensors directly onto mine. My primary heart stopped. The biological imperative to flee paralyzed every muscle fiber in my body. It was an unblinking, predatory assessment. It was calculating my caloric value. I was prey. "Don't worry, she's friendly," Jake murmured, gently palpating the creature's dorsal ridge. The scanner interface screamed, "Threat level 7." I forced my vocal cords to function. "Human Jake," I rasped, my voice barely a whisper in the quiet clinic. "My device, it registers that entity as a planetary ecological hazard. Is it true?" The scanner projected a scrolling text overlay. Apex predator. Detected. Forward-facing binocular vision. Retractable weaponry. Status. Purring. The mechanical rumbling was not a warning. It was the sound the beast made. "Oh, yeah, she's a little murder machine," Jake chuckled, completely missing my physiological collapse. "Outdoor cats take out about 4 billion birds a year just in this country. It's actually a huge ecological problem. But look at those little paws. 4 billion. A localized extinction event, and the human was praising its weaponized limbs." The cat leaped off the table with zero kinetic sound, landing softly beside the discarded golden beast's prey lure. It batted the sphere once, asserting total dominance over the previous predator's toy. I pressed myself tighter against the cabinetry, waiting for the creature to launch its attack. Instead, it rubbed its cranium against Jake's shin, wrapping a prehensile tail around his ankle. The human knelt down on the cold floor, placing his large, fragile hands directly into the strike zone. He rubbed the fur just beneath the creature's auditory receptors. The purring amplified, filling the room with a deep, vibrating resonance. I stared at the human, truly observing him for the first time. He was completely unprotected. He knew the lethality of the beast. He simply did not care. "She's a good girl," Jake said softly. "I have 3 more at home." My scanner screen overloaded in a burst of white static. I filed my preliminary assessment from the safety of my orbital vessel. On the visual feed from the clinic, the lethal 4 billion kill count predator was now asleep, curled tightly around the rubber prey lure device on the human's examination table. The humans do not fear their predators. They feed them. They name them. They allow them into their beds. I do not understand this species. I do not think I ever will. But I will not forget the sound the beast made when the human scratched behind its ears.